the end of the day, you're looking at a team who beat a team on the road. Penn State was ranked in the AP. Whatever. Say they weren't ranked in the AP.
And they're a good
Penn
program,
State's a good football team.
They're a good football
it's not
team.
as if, it's
they battled with Ohio State. I mean, they were at the horseshoe. I mean, they were in that game at Ohio State, man. I mean, they are a good program. We talked about it with James Franklin and with Penn State. They've done, even though there are a lot of similarities between the Penn State and Michigan program, between Franklin and Harbaugh, but at least they've broken through a couple, once.
And it's so funny because I was thinking about it too as I thought about it as far as my fandom, being an Alabama fan, is just with Penn State, you can look at it as a Michigan fan the same way you do as an Alabama fan with Auburn. Like, it doesn't matter what their record is. They're going to bring it every single time that they play you. Mm-hmm. And that's what Penn State did today. So to me, my thought was, I don't care if they're ranked in the college football playoff or not. This is a good win. This is a really good win, because the thing is had Michigan lost this game, what would we be saying? Like, and the fact that they won, I
don't want to think about that.
Lets me know that this is a big win, and we talked about it too early on in the season with Wisconsin and with Washington as well. I'm like, these are big wins. Like, I really don't care about what happened with those other teams, with Wisconsin and Washington and so on and so forth. At the time you played them, this is a big win. So I'm going to give Michigan all the credit in the world. If I'm Josh Gaddis, I'm taking Mike McDonald to the absolute best restaurant I can in the state of Michigan.
That man makes $1 million a year.
Goodness gracious, you left that man out on he had to walk the plank on his own.
Gaddis got it. The Michigan coordinator paid a lot of money. Gaddis got getting paid with $1.2 million a year.
I tweeted it out earlier in the game, but especially early on. I mean, I think at one point it was 24 plays to 3. Yeah. Holy cow. That is a lot of stress to put on a defense early on in a game, because we're talking early in the first quarter, and you're talking about you got 25 plays in, so you're easily on pace to have 100 plays against your defense, and that is an absolute disaster. Once you get up there in 75, 80, 85 plays as far as the defense, your efficiency is just out the door. Like, guys are just gassed. Like, there's no team that has enough guys that can deal with those amount of snaps. Like, I don't care if you're 10 deep on the D line, that's way too many plays. So for McDonald, I think he did a phenomenal job. I thought Gaddis did well in spots. Like, that third down to all was huge. Thought that was a great play call against man coverage. But overall, I thought it could have been better. And let's kind of go back to the JJ thing, because that has been a big talking point, all season, really. Like, with us, with other channels, like just overall with the Michigan fan base. What were your thoughts on JJ getting no snaps essentially today?
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense of where you are. I mean, you are in the last quarter of the season. You have to have it. You don't need, and this is not the time to be cute, right? This is the time to win. And by this, we said it before, this deep into your season, you should know who are your go-tos or who are not your go-tos, where your go-to packages, where your go-to plays that work. You can't afford to be making ill-timed, cute mistakes. And JJ, if he's patient, we'll see if he is, and we'll see what the staff does after this year. We'll get his time, but that time isn't now. And I thought they made the right decision, especially after the last couple of weeks. That you say, you know what, this is Cade's thing. We need to let Cade run this thing fully, and we just go from there, right? And I brought it up and I said, Cade had to be really efficient. I thought Cade overall. Now Haskins was huge, but Cade was the one that made the touchdown passes. Got into end the plays to get in the end zone more than not, and he was huge today. So it's not enough good. I could say Jabo and Hutchinson at one point had 5. They may have had more, but at least had 2 strips. Both had 2 strip sacks. One point, had 5 combined sacks, 2 by Hutchinson, 3 by Jabo, or vice versa. And they lived up to their billing today, man. It was a complete win. It wasn't a perfect win by all means. This team is skating on very, very thin ice, and also, even though this is a great win by Harbaugh and the staff, you're still keeping teams around and putting yourself in really big danger. And that's just, it's a bad habit, and it can burn you, and it has burnt this team. Now, will it didn't burn them today? It almost did. But hey, for the last 2 games coming up in the season, those are the things you just got to hope you get to minimize. And when you do get in the red zone, finish drives more, right? Not kicking field goals, getting touchdowns, watching your turnovers, all those things matter, man. And it was a great win. It's a great win. You got to, at this point in the season, with what's on the line, you got to chalk it up, especially on the road battle. This is a very, very physical football game on both sides, very physical. And, our guys are able to, throw the last punch. So it feels good. It feels good to be able to say that.